Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Wizard of Legend. Wizard of Legend is a top-down dungeon crawler roguelike game where you play as an unnamed wizard battling your way through the Chaos Trials to earn the title of Legend, hence the game's name. Wizard of Legend focuses on fast-paced combat, having you dash around swiftly to dodge and evade enemies while simultaneously unleashing a barrage of elemental spells. But that's just the basis. How about some history of the game first? Wizard of Legend is developed by Contingent 99 and was launched on May 15, 2018. Since then, the creators have made several free content updates to keep the game fresh and exciting. Most notably the Sky Palace and Thundering Keep update, where technically three new bosses joined the Council of Magic. Alongside that were 2 new dungeons to battle through. The Phantom update also deserves a mention here, as it added a ton of new content even without needing a whole new boss or dungeon. Small history lesson over, now let's talk about how the game actually plays. You start off with some simple spells, or arcana as the game calls them. They are mostly easy to use and understand. You have a basic arcana that deals low damage but are quite spammable, a dash arcana that modifies your movement options, a standard arcana which is pretty self-explanatory, and finally a signature arcana that can be charged up to easily clear entire rooms and deal massive damage. Over time, as you battle your way through the trial and inevitably die, you can use the Chaos Gems collected in the trials to unlock new arcana, relics, and even cloaks to customize your loadout to your heart's content. In this video, I'll go over some specific loadouts and builds that you can try out for yourself. To be clear, I am not making a step-by-step guide on Wizard of Legend, and I don't think it's necessary. But if you want an even more in-depth video on the game, there are great videos by these handsome fellows that do a fantastic job at explaining the game. So check them out if you haven't already, and tell them that the Business Bird sent you. Disclaimer: these builds are not absolutes or the only ways to play the game. A huge part of Wizard of Legend lies in its customization and making your own unique builds. That being said, let's get you started with a few ideas, shall we? The Specialist. This build is focused on one particular element while ignoring the others. Pure fire, pure lightning, pure earth, etc. To make these builds worthwhile though, you will need Neve's crystals of the corresponding element. Neve's crystals for the most part are the foundation for this type of strategy. For example, Neve's emerald gives you more armor and health in addition to granting you immunity to knockback while having 7 earth arcana. On the other hand, Neve's ruby increases all damage you deal by 20% and adds a burn effect if you possess 7 fire arcana. These crystals offer pretty good compensation for you, as using only one type of element may put you up against some unfavorable elemental matchups. Still, with the amazing effects of the gems and a pretty cool cosmetic change to your appearance, it is definitely a build worth considering. The Generalist. Now for something that's the total opposite. Basically, you aim to have all 6 elements somewhere in your build and use the Captain's Ring as your starting relic, which boosts your damage according to the amount of different elements you have, up to 20%. For this to reach full potential, however, you will need Chaos Arcana, which can only be obtained by defeating Master Sura, the final boss in the Chaos Trials. Even then, out of the 24 Chaos Arcana in the game, beating him will only grant you a random one, so depending on what you get, you might have to compromise and swap some elements around. Although the Generalist doesn't offer insane buffs like the former Specialist or a cool new outfit to match, Its all-inclusive nature means that you pretty much have a favorable matchup most of the time, and makes you feel like a true master of the elements. Speaking of which, the Master. For this build to even be accessible, you would have to have beaten the game ideally 4 times, but probably a lot more than that. You see, after you beat the game for the first time, Master Sura, alongside giving you a random Chaos Arcana, will also award you with the Insignia of Legend, which is crucial to this build. When equipped and starting out with 4 Chaos Arcana, it doubles crit damage. And with a full arsenal of 7 Chaos Arcana, you not only get an awesome new look, but crit damage goes up to 175%. Do bear in mind that it's crit damage, not crit chance, so items like Vampire's Eyeglasses won't be affected. Even so, with such massive crit damage and the fact that Chaos Arcana are generally stronger than other Arcana, it is easily one of the more practical and powerful builds you can run. One slight disadvantage to consider though is this: almost all enemies take neutral damage from Chaos. None of them are weak or resistant to, except for one, that being Sura himself. That's right, the only enemy that takes reduced damage from Chaos attacks is Master Sura, so you might have a slightly harder time with him if you don't take full advantage of your arguably stronger Arcana properly. Well, those are some basic ideas of builds in Wizard of Legend. Like I said, these builds are not set in stone. The most fun part of Wizard of Legend is mixing and matching Arcana that you think are fun, so don't let these builds affect your creativity. That being said, there are some relics that you should keep an eye out for while running these builds. For the specialist, be on the lookout for Royal Flush, a great item that increases your damage the more same element Arcana you have, up to 20%. This combo is especially potent when paired with Neve's Ruby, as both relics together are able to boost your damage output to up to 40% if the requirements are met. A relic you want to hunt for as the generalist is the Slice Rack, a rather niche relic that I don't hear a lot of people talk about. It is a cooldown focused relic and is incredibly easy to activate when playing as the generalist. This is due to the fact that the relic only reduces cooldown of an Arcana when you use another Arcana of a different element, which is usually quite cumbersome to pull off. But with the generalist build, it will be active almost 100% of the time, giving it huge value in this instance. Finally, when you're rocking the master build, keep your eyes peeled for a cursed relic instead. These cursed relics stole by Noxie Unfortunate consist of a pretty good upside at the cost of a usually very crippling downside. However, in the case of the luxury handbag, only the increased damage of Enhanced Arcana will matter, since all Chaos Arcana are already enhanced. When using only Chaos Arcana, the decreased damage of unenhanced Arcana is pretty negligible. Well, you seem to have reached the end of this video. By now, I have provided you with 3 simple yet effective builds for you to blast through the Chaos Trials with. Again, these are just recommendations, so be sure to experiment on your own to find out what Arcana suits you and create your own builds. I should also mention that around a month ago, Wizard of Legend 2 has just been announced, which is great news for fans of the game like myself, and it's available to wishlist right now, so go do that if you're interested. That is all for now, and I hope to see you aspiring wizards succeed in your endeavors. Have a wonderful rest of your day.